Hey, so I'm going to walk you through how to customize CSS in a WordPress website or an already made WordPress website. So it's not the typical way for developers that we have all the file structure in editor such as VS Code. You can do it that way, but you run into problems when you're editing the actual files of your theme and CSS. And it's just more complex. There's just easy ways to do it. If you want to do the other way, you can. That would be a different video. But it gets into like a whole other can of worms of making child themes and things like this so that your settings don't get overridden when the theme updates or different plugins update, whatever you're adding CSS to. So we are going to do the typical WordPress way. So the way to log into your WordPress site is your domain /wp-login.php. Now, I typically change that, but you'll find that pretty much most people, almost nobody does. This is the typical login. If you have a client that has a WordPress site, this is how you're going to get into it. So once you log in, it puts us in the admin view, the back end of WordPress here. And there's a few different ways to customize CSS. So I'm going to walk you through the easiest one. So the easiest one, typically, if you have a theme already there, already installed, the themes almost always, like pretty much the ones I've seen, they have a customize ability here. You click customize, and they typically have an additional CSS tab here. So you have different things you can change to the theme, colors, and the background image, menus, things like that. But we just want to change the CSS. So you just click additional CSS. And when you type it in here, you'll see a live update. So let's do something that is easy. We're going to select everything with the select star. And we're going to give it let's just give it a border of 5 pixels so it stands out, and do a bright red here. So we can see that it's already affecting it. And if you want to leave it like that, I would never customize like that. But if you want to leave it like that, you just hit publish and it's there to stay. Okay, so we can see that it did work. So the other way, the other thing you can do is edit specific elements in the custom CSS here. And you can go to the files through WordPress and actually look things up, or download the files if you'd like to. But I find the easiest way for little changes, little edits, is just to right-click on the thing you'd like to edit and inspect it to open it up in your console. So let's do something simple here. Let's just click this box here for our footer. So we inspect it, and here's what comes up. And you can see the names. We got a div ID called wrapper, and as you scroll over it, it selects the item. So here we've got the Fusion footer. So let's just edit that. We give it a class name of Fusion footer, and let's do something obvious just to make sure that it works. We're going to display none and have it disappear. And see, it's gone. We get rid of that. We have a live preview that shows that it's back. So gone, back. And when you're ready to save your changes, you just hit publish and it's there permanently. But I would in no way want this to be published. So, if you don't want it saved, you just hit exit, and see, it'll say that you're going to navigate away, and you just click OK, and nothing's affected. So that's the easiest way to do it, I find, for most themes. But sometimes there's weird issues, or it's just not working. So the other way to do it is you go to your backend here. So your domain /wp-admin, or you just click up here and it directs you over there. And you're going to find your theme. Here it's called Avada. That's the theme I'm using. It'll usually say the name of the theme. It could say theme options or theme settings, something like that, just here on the left-hand side. So I go to the name of the theme, click theme options. And typically, you'll have all these different ways to customize your theme. and you go all the way down and find your custom CSS. If you can't find it, it might be hidden. You just Apple F or Control F if you're on a PC, and type in CSS, and you can search for all the mentions of it by just hitting return. And we find it here, custom CSS. So click it, and here you can edit your custom CSS by simply just, same thing as before, you add your CSS in here. So we're going to select star everything, and we are going to, let's give it another border, 5 pixels, and red. And we'll just hit save changes. And then when you navigate to your page, it'll be updated. So, but I don't want these changes here, so I'm just gonna delete it and save it that way. And that's how simple it is to edit it in the theme. The other option here, if you don't have any of those, is just going directly and installing a plugin. So let's go back to our dashboard so that we're starting from scratch here. Now that we're in our WP-admin mode here, we go looking for our plugins on the left-hand side here, and you'll see a tab here for plugins, and you can click it and it'll go to all your plugins that are installed, or you can just simply click add new right here, and you'll be able to install that way. But let's go to our main plugins page, and this will list out all our plugins that we have installed, and at the very top left-hand corner, you just click add new. So if you don't have one that you particularly like, you don't know, you could do some searching online, but I often find it's easiest just to do it here. So you just type in CSS or custom CSS. Let's do custom CSS, and you'll probably get a list of various plugins that work. And you just look at the the more installations, the more reviews, that type of thing is usually what most people go off of. We don't need to edit any JavaScript, so we're just going to do the simple custom CSS. So to install the plugin, we're going to hit install now. And then this button comes up to activate it, and we could click activate, and it'll direct us to the plugins. So the other option is just to go to your plugins page and see some of them are deactivated. You just click activate in here. But I typically do it in the installation spot. So the thing about WordPress is, once you install these plugins, they go somewhere on the left-hand side, and it's not so easy to find. So you could search it, but so here it is. You could deactivate the plugin and then delete it, or you could just simply hit add CSS, and that'll take you to the page. So here we can add our CSS again, and we're just going to select everything, and we're going to give it a border of 5 pixels red. And you just simply hit update custom CSS, and it will be saved. So you can just navigate to the main page and make sure that the changes were made. Or you can hit here to actually view it in the customizer, kind of how we'd done before by editing it through the theme. And you can see the live update as you're editing it. And again, if you want to save that, you just hit the publish sign, or if you don't, you just hit exit, and it will take you back. So those are typically the best ways to edit the CSS. The other option, which I don't recommend unless you are a programmer or very well-versed in WordPress and PHP and editing and all that, I wouldn't typically edit the theme files, but just so you know where to go, you go down to Appearance. So on the left-hand side, here's your dashboard. You go down to Appearance, and you hit the Theme Editor. And WordPress is going to tell you basically, don't do this. And if you are, make a child theme, and a child theme is, a video into itself. We can do it at another time. So I understand, and here is where you can see all your different file structures. The only reason I would use this is maybe to find names of files, or the styling they use so that you can override it in your custom CSS plugin rather than doing it in here. And the main reason is that if you do it here and then your theme updates at a later date, you will lose those changes because it'll get overwritten, which is why you have to create a child theme and go through a process to keep those changes as updates are made. So, but that's a whole different type of thing. So for custom CSS, just making small changes, edits, changing your text, your fonts, your colors, basic things like that, you should do it typically through the custom CSS plugins and theme editors.